Hey, this is David Edwards, and I'm on Team RAW's channel, and I'm with,
Ray Die.
and we are 250th YCS in Los Angeles. And what'd you do today?
I got top 32 playing Adventure Sprite.
And why'd you play that deck?
It was the only deck that I knew how to play.
Ah, fair enough. All right, let's see the goo.
So for the engine monsters, I started with 3 Mr. Beaver and 2 Igloo. These are your best normal summons and your targets for sprint. Pretty self-explanatory. Seeing these together in multiples is like kind of bad, obviously, because like you have less targets to send with your angler if you draw 2 beaver, or if you draw this and this, then your sprint doesn't have a very good target. So happened a couple times to me this weekend, but it is what it is. You should still play these fantastic cards. For the Sprite Monsters, play 3 blue, 3 jets, 1 red, 1 carrot, and 1 pixies. These are pretty self-explanatory. They're probably just the best monsters in the deck. These are kind of how you stop your opponent from interacting with you. I've thought about upping these to like 2 or something, but like you really don't need to. The games where you wish you had more, you're probably going to lose anyway, even if you had them, or the games that you do win, that you wanted them, like you're going to win without them anyway. So that's like basically what my experience was. This combos really well with Mosquito, so you can go for kill shots easily with this card. Also just outs big tower monsters that are like problematic for the deck. Honestly, it's good. So that's it for the sprites. For the gigantic targets, really just had Swat Frog, and then we also played the Melfi and Caddy and the Melfi Penny. So we're ending on both, or ideally we're ending on both Toad and the Melfi stuff. Full combo, you can do both. I've seen some builds play only the Melfi stuff with like Soul Scissors and stuff, but I think if you're doing Soul Scissors, you can just do this because it's just 1 card, and Toad is just better than Soul Scissors. So that was the logic behind that. These cards are pretty good. If you end on like Toad, Melfi, and like the adventure stuff, which I also played, you're gonna have like a pretty strong board. Usually that's like 3 negates plus a bounce and whatever. So if your opponent can play through that without Dark Ruler, then like they're god. But these were pretty good all day, all weekend. And then speaking of adventure, we played adventure stuff to complement everything. So we played 2 Enchantress, 1 Wandering Griffin, 2 Red Avermister, 1 Fateful, 1 Dracoback, and 1 Foolish. Foolish doubles as an Angler send as well as sending Enchantress. This was excellent all weekend. It helped insulate from hand traps, or just was set up as a negation. I cut down from 3 and 3 just so that like I had less cards in my deck, because I'm running at 45 and you don't want to be at 45. But I had to make a choice somewhere, and I chose this. Yeah, and if you do end up using your Griffin negate on your own turn to protect from like a hand trap, then you always just like link away the adventure token for like your combo, which is pretty good. And then for extenders, played E-Telly. Only 2 because I didn't want to play like 46 cards, 47, 48. But this is really good with Gamma. Obviously, we play Gamma as our hand trap of choice in our going second lineup. And then for the jet targets, we have 3 starter, 1 smashers, 1 double cross. I think this is probably the worst one out of all of these. Like I think I only activated this like maybe once the entire tournament, because I was either always just searching starter, or like if I already had the starter, I would search the double cross for the Toad play. This I honestly don't think I don't know if I would cut it, but like it didn't do anything this weekend, to be honest. And then for the hand traps, I made 3 Ash, 3 Gamma and Driver, 3 Imperm, And then the last going second slot was 3 evenly matched. These were the most well-rounded for like the entire meta. I thought this solo is branded, but I didn't even play against any branded. This is really good against Sprite. This is just good against everything. Evenly matched. I chose to main it because I couldn't fit it in my side deck. And I ended up playing 45 because I just added 3 evenlies on top. It was pretty good actually all weekend. This was probably like one of the more clutch cards that I had in my main deck. Obviously you don't want to play 45, but like it is what it is. And then for the extra deck, we have Adventure Token. Shout out to Ecclesia. We played 2 Sprites Friend. Second one doesn't come up. It's just for the Kashtira matchup, so they don't like completely get you with Unicorn or Diablosis. Reproducus. This is for the Toad. You declare Aqua on the zone underneath, and then you make a Toad. IP and Unicorn. This comes up pretty infrequently, but it is another interaction you can make depending on your hand. Usually Beaver and E-Telly ends on this. But it was just another option to go into. You could alternatively just play like Phoenix and Cerberus probably in these slots, and you'd also just be fine. And then for the Xyz monsters, we played 1 Oni Bimaru. Really good flexible flex utility. Just banish problem monsters for the turn and forget about it. And then they'll come back next turn and you'll have to deal with it again, but that's fine. 2 Gigantic. The third only really came up once, but I was probably losing that game anyway, so... and that was versus Kashtira, so like I summoned the 1 and then he out of my board, and then he banished my second. But I actually don't know. Actually, no, never mind. I won that game, so it doesn't matter. Next was Mosquito. MVP for killing people. I was originally going to play 2, but like I ended up doing some last minute changes to the deck, basically fitting in the Melfi stuff. So like the second one got cut. It never came up where I needed more than 1. This is fantastic for just going for kill shots. Honestly, like probably the MVP of the extra deck, to be honest. And then for the Zeus package, we also had Downard and 2 Zeus. 2 Zeus for Kashtira, in case they rip 1, you still have 1. Zeus carried in the Kashtira matchup. It's probably just the only reason why it's like even winnable. And then for the last 3 slots were the negations. We had Toad, Melfi of the Forest to search your caddy, and Mary Melfi's for your penny target.
So for people who don't know, what does the Syncro do?
So the Syncro, basically it just bounces a monster on summon, and then Melfi of the Forest will search your caddy, but also when caddy bounces itself back to hand and search it penny, this will also negate a monster. So this card is really good against Kashtira actually. So when they special like a Unicorn or Fenner, you'll bounce your caddy. If they choose to activate Unicorn or Fenner, they'll be Chainlink 1 since they're turn player, and then Chainlink 2, Melfi of the Forest, will negate it. And it also prevents them from attacking over your Toad with that monster. So this is kind of like a soft lock, but like not really. So these are like super good together. And that's it for the extra. For the side deck, we have Drone Lockbird, probably the MVP of the side. This helped against so many matchups like the Mirror, Drytron that I randomly played against, Kashtira, even if they start with like Field Spell, Terraforming, Prosperity, or whatever. Really good there. 3 Jizukiru. So I chose this Kaiju because of the combination of Mosquito. So this is the largest attack point for your Mosquito to burn with, and also randomly our locals, like the Kashtira players, play Rivalry of the Warlords to prevent themselves from getting Kaiju'd. This is a Machine Kaiju, so that's irrelevant there. Also just, yeah, that was the main reason why. But so next was 2 Ghost Spell. This was mostly for Branded and like Runic. Thought it was fine. I only sided in a few times, but yeah. And then the last card for the monsters was 1 Resonator. It's your level 2 extender. And then for the spells, removal, we had 2 Cosmic and 1 Feather Duster. This is, I think, in my opinion, the most, it hits every deck. So like, I think like going second, I almost always put this in. These 2 go in for like specific back row decks. Things where like you would lose to like a Floodgate or something. And then the last 3 cards were Grave of the Super Ancient Organism. I never saw this card. I put it in a few times, never drew it. In theory, it's like really good against like branded at the very least. If they give him a puppet you still side this in, and then if you see it, you just flip it and they can't do anything to you unless they have the out. Or same thing with Kashtira, like if you have this backed up with like a negation or something, or removal, then like you're safe from like the Dark Arm Xyz, so there's that as well. But yeah, that was it for the deck.
You have any shout outs?
Yeah, so I'm gonna shout out to my sponsor, Team ROW, rowhobbies.net or .com, whichever one it is, I forget. Follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/RaysianYGO, and my Twitch. I also stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/Raysian. That's RAYSIAN. Shout outs to all the homies from Michigan that were here with us and cheering us on. Shout outs to my entourage at home, Ali, Quan, Damien, Jabron, whatever, Zach, gotcha. Shout outs to my hotel roommate this weekend, Brian Blessing. Shout outs to basically all Michigan Yu-Gi-Oh! And everyone back at home for their support.
Nice. All right, Ray. See you again next time.